आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़।
A big hello to all our listeners. Welcome to an enriching podcast series, Vigyan Ki Awaaz. This podcast series focuses on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. Dear listeners, in this special episode of Vigyan Ki Awaaz, we have with us Jainsee Swami, with 27 years in Technology Information Forecasting and Assessment Council, TIFAC, New Delhi. Dear listeners, let's listen to Jainsee Swami. She has been proudly featured as one of the top 8 women administrators and policymakers in India 2022 by CII Compendium on Women in STEM Vanguards of India @75. A future thinker with expertise in technology foresight, visioning, roadmap development, practitioner in foresight techniques and methodologies, Jainsee Swami is a proud scientist F. Dear listeners, let's listen to Jainsee Swami. Welcome back to Vigyan Ki Awaaz. This is a special podcast series where we are talking about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. Today we are talking to a very, very eminent scientist, and she has done all the contributions in her life to put the flag of the nation very, very higher. The women in the field of sciences are doing much, much, much higher than we could have imagined of. Let's welcome her again. Ma'am, heartiest welcome and welcome back to Vigyan Ki Awaaz. And now we would like to know from you. I think there's a lot to be done. Yeah. And I think the future lies with a lot of science and innovations.
Yes.
And we need to bring our think tanks again and again so that we can bring the name of the nation globally very, very high.
See, one another message which I would like to convey is that the next 20 years will be the decade for us, the 20 decades, because we will have more than like 50% of people in the working age during that time compared to all.
I think there's a lot to be done. And I think the future lies with a lot of science and innovations.
Yes.
And we need to bring our think tanks again and again so that we can bring the name of the nation globally very, very high.
See, one another message which I would like to convey is that the next 20 years will be the decade for us, the 20 decades, because we will have more than like 50% of people in the working age during that time compared to all other countries. So that's a dividend, demographic dividend, which is of advantage to us. So that we need to encash. So skill the right, do the right skilling for our workforce, and then we can achieve.
Wonderful. So the next 20 years are nothing but science.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, material science.
Skilled, no, not only material science, skilled workforce.
Yes.
And also keep material science as an emphasis.
As an emphasis. So skilled workforce are our roadmap and our factors and components to work upon for the next 20 years. So the future is science, right? Am I right?
Yep. Yes.
Ma'am, you have such a big journey in the field of science, and it is worth a lifetime. Those many years, I'm sure you have got a lot of stories to be very proud about. Why don't you share a few of the success stories of your journey?
Success story, if I say, will be in the beginning. I can tell about an incident where I had the opportunity to work closely with Dr. Abdul Kalam. Like when we were in our office in a meeting, he said that there is he knows that I'm a metallurgical engineer. So in one of our meetings, he said that there is a problem which we have along with our executive director, Dr. Y.S. Rajan. So when we were all together, they said that there is an issue which the silk weavers of Tamil Nadu are facing. They are not able to diagnose which is the real zari or the fake zari. You know what is meant by zari, right? For the silk sarees, there is the border.
Silk threads, yeah.
So it's basically silk. Zari means what? Zari is basically a silk thread,
Yes.
which is wrapped with silver
Okay.
and then dipped in gold.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how it works. So the thing is that they were trying to find out because many fake polyester zari came in market. So the original zari makers of Kanchipuram who weave with their hands, so their business was like going for a toss. Okay. So these our leaders were posed with that issue, and then they said that okay, for a team of us, can you do something? So then I was in touch with the Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, IG Kalpakam. So we went with the scientists, we met there, how we can diagnose the purity of the zari without distracting it. The one way of distracting is that you just take out a thread and then burn it.
Okay.
Polyester means ऐसे burn हो जाएगा. If it is the original zari, then that silver thing remains, na?
Yes.
So, but does it distract? आप कितने बार साड़ी को तोड़ना जलाएंगे?
जी.
So then we found out a method which is called as non-destructive testing.
Okay.
We used an existing gold testing machine, and then we changed it. We customized it to accommodate a sari. Because non-destructive testing जो हमने स्कूल में पढ़ा है कि that's one way of finding out how much metal is there.
Yes.
Different metals का आप composition बता सकते हैं. So using that we solved that problem, and then a zari testing center was installed in Kanchipuram for testing at a very throwaway price for people. So आप एकदम साड़ी खरीदेंगे दुकान से, वहाँ जाएंगे, टेस्ट करेंगे, सर्टिफिकेट आ जाता है, हाँ ये ऑथेंटिक है 100%. So this is one example which I wanted to share.
I think it is a lifetime achievement working so closely with former president and Dr. Abdul Kalam sir is an institute, and I think when we just pronounce his name, we get a passion in our heart. So you could work so closely with sir. I think that's a big
that
achievement.
was blessing, in fact. Yeah.
Any other success story where you felt like that I was born to be a scientist? Good that I have worked in the field of science.
So those sort of occasions come to us many times whenever we interact with different people, whenever we visit, especially when we go to villages and for any projects, when we go and explain to them things. I always felt that yes, it's really a blessing to be in such a profession, especially even when we release the Technology Vision 2035 document by our current Prime Minister Modi ji only released it in 2016. So that was a very proud moment, when something which you conceived on your table, those things are already published and it is there outright there for consumption of be it public or different stakeholders. So it's always a success a feeling which you
I could see the twinkle in your eye.
So वो तो है. Yeah.
Dear listeners, we take a break at this enriching conversation. In the next part of this episode, catch more insightful discussions about science and the world of science. In the next episode, we shall bring to you more interesting discussions. Until and up to we meet in the next episode, please take care of yourself, stay healthy, and keep listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz. Vigyan Ki Awaaz, a podcast series to popularize STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine.
विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़.
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. Supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Salam Namaste, Community Radio, Noida.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़.